Hello, my name is Colton Horner. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, and this is the presentation of my final project for Harvard University's CS50X. For my final project, I chose to create from scratch an online budgeting web app that allows users to keep track of their personal finances in an incredibly simple and user-friendly fashion. I chose to title this website Project Nashville, originally as a temporary placeholder such as Windows 95's Project Chicago, but I actually quite liked the way the name looked on the index page, so I chose to keep it. Before accessing the index page, users are prompted to either log in or register a new account. In registering, the users are prompted for a first and last name, username, password, and full address, simply for password reset verification. Once registered, the user's information is stored inside of a users table within the app's internal database. The user's password is implemented through a hash function, encrypting it so as to prevent any adversaries from being able to acquire access to the user's account. Along the top is the nav bar, which gives users several prompts. The site's logo acts as a home button, which will return to the index page. There's a transactions page, which allows users to access their transaction history, as well as delete transactions they no longer want recorded. A calculator, which is a link to an external website called calculator.net. An About page, which tells users a little bit more about Project Nashville, and finally a menu tab that drops down the options for the user to reset their password or log out. Just beneath the nav bar, you'll notice two read-only input variables that are defaulted to $0.00 remaining of $0.00. What this is saying is that you have allocated X amount of your total Y income. Clicking the Add Income button to the right will bring up a modal in which the user can now add how much they plan to budget for within the given month. They can then save that amount and it will be recorded for them in both the left and right hand slots. The right hand slot will remain the same unless the user chooses to edit the amount recorded. The left hand slot, however, will change as the user allocates their income throughout their planned budget. For example, if I were to allocate $2,000 toward my rent or mortgage, then the amount recorded in the right-hand slot will remain, while the amount recorded in the left-hand slot will automatically deduct itself $2,000, thus keeping track of both your total monthly income and the amount you have remaining to be allocated toward other budget items for the month. Next, there are 6 separate budgeting categories, each of which opens up to another varied set of budgeting subcategories. Clicking the Make Changes button to the right of any budgeting subcategory will bring up a modal very similar to the one from before, wherein the user can now edit what the subcategory is for and allocate an amount for said subcategory. This will record the amount within that subcategory, as well as automatically calculate and adjust the amount of money remaining to be allocated. The Log Transaction button allows the user to record a transaction amount and vendor and assign that transaction to a specific subcategory, which will then automatically deduct the amount of that transaction from the amount allocated toward the subcategory, thus showing how much money remains to be spent within that specific subcategory without affecting the calculations that determine the left-handed amount of the above input variables. For example, if I were to now log that I have spent $1,900 of my $2,000 allocated for rent, the allocated amount will automatically lower to $100, showing that I still have wiggle room in the amount of $100 there. However, the amount of money I have left to allocate of my total monthly income has not changed. I could choose to reduce that $100 back to zero, thus giving myself back that $100 to place somewhere else, and it will then add $100 to my amount to be allocated.